2024 was a pretty busy year for me on YouTube, so let's review it. Let's go! Happy New Year. Hit that subscribe button. I've listed some of these affiliate links below. It'll help my channel at no cost to you. Well, 2024 turned into a lot of headphone reviews. So I had an opportunity to review a bunch of headphones in 2024. And it was a very interesting journey for me because none of them sounded the same. They all sounded different, had their strengths and weaknesses, some more than others. And it was a very interesting process for me. What stood out for me of these headphones was definitely the Audeze Carbon. Now, I use the Audeze LCD5 high-end headphones as my reference, but the Audeze Carbons rival them for sure. I don't have the best headphone amp with those, but they stood out for me. Another one that stood out for me was the Neumann NDH 30. And the reason why those stood out to me is because they were affordable at under $800, and they were pretty even keel. They had a very even balance to them, and in that price range, I thought they did a really good job. In the lower end of the range, like below $500, the Audeze MM-100 were the ones that were the standout. They had a very even keel mid-range that is so important in production, more than the bells and whistles and the low end and the high end. You got to get that mid-range right. So I like those. Another headphone that stood out for me was the HEDDphone TWOs. They're so different sounding, yet they sounded right to me. And they do demand a lot of power to drive them properly. And once you have that, they are definitely a nice pair of headphones. You just got to be careful because they are hard to drive. I have to give a shout out to Chord Anni because that mightily impressed me, and it's become a mainstay in my studio since as a headphone amplifier. Yeah, I mean, it lacks the 4-pin connector, but I thought it was that thing sounds great. It's just up my alley with the MOSFET sound and liquidy sound it has. Now, I also reviewed a bunch of microphones, even some really good ones, and it's hard to say which ones were the standout. I think this one, the Mojave MA-1000, is one of my favorites because it sounded really good on my voice. So you'll see that a lot in videos just on my voice. I also like the Milab VIP-60. I thought it had a really super cool top end on it. There are a couple of other microphones that I had in the studio and that I didn't get a chance to review, but the AAR91s were definitely up there. I also have to give a shout out to the Mojave MA-301fet because it's become my favorite guitar cabinet microphone. It ticks all the boxes for me when it comes to miking a cabinet up, especially up close. Now, I had a bunch of odd reviews this year, and one of them was the Noise Engineering Dystopia, which is the most extreme distortion pedal I've ever heard, and it's nothing like plugins. It's its own thing, and I thought it was really cool. I actually ended up doing a bunch of tracks with it just because it was so over the top for some production libraries. The other one that was really unique to me was the Folk-Tech Alter X. I'll leave a link to all these videos below, but the Alter X was something different for sure. Looked different, felt different, and sounded different, even though it was a digital pedal. It's nothing like I've tried before, so that was really cool. Now, I tried a couple of in-the-box plug-in guitar stuff, like the Tonix or Mesa Boogie. I also tried the Two Notes Genome. The Two Notes Genome was very, very impressive to me as a plug-in. I thought it was very usable and the effects sounded great in it, and I thought the amp sims were really good in it as well, if you're into that sort of thing. Of course, the IK Multimedia Tonix that you can transfer to the pedal is also really, really cool. So check those videos out if you're interested in the box guitar production stuff. I want to give a shout out to the Peterson StroboClip, which is the best clip-on tuner I've ever used. I mean, that thing is just so accurate. If you need a tuner, then I highly recommend the Petersons. I tried a bunch of mic pre's. I tried the Harrison 32C Pre Plus. I also tried the AEA TRP 500. And both of those are great, but it's amazing how different they are in sound and in how you would use them. One is a console sound with a lot of character, and the other one is clean and pristine and just with a lot of gain. So how would you pick either one? I ended up, with them in my rack. Well, the Big Brother RPQ 500, which I should probably do a review of at some point, that has the EQ option on it. So I also had a couple of oddballs in there, like some in-ears that I've never tested before, and I thought they sounded good, but I don't think in-ears are appropriate in the studio. There's too many just practical problems with them, like getting them to fit right and putting them on quick. Got to give a shout out also to the Driftwood Heavy Hatchet, which is probably one of the best distortion pedals I've tried. I want to give a shout out to the Sinido Tempo Pad 16 because it fits perfectly on my desk. As you can see here, it ended up in my system and it just fits perfectly where I need it to do. It doesn't move, it doesn't do weird stuff, and it just works for MIDI inputting. And I also have to give a shout out to the TC Dual Rec that I thought was a very, very cool sounding pedal. Besides all the product reviews and the exposure to all this equipment, had some exciting things that I will put into motion in 2024, and we should see the fruition of this in 2025. It looks like I'll be putting out a new metal product this year, as well as a bunch of production library albums. So that's pretty cool. And this is in the capacity of both as a composer and a producer. This year, looks like a new studio is going to be built, so I'm really excited about that. Let's see how that goes. So stay tuned. I should have a lot of new stuff coming in now. I can already tell you that I have a bunch of more headphones lined up and a couple of other surprises in there. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, take care.